Hello today, and we're going to be reviewing the Speedlink Competition Pro clone of a joystick. I've had it 2 years and I've just got round to reviewing it. Yeah, it's very good. I use it, I don't really use it for my reviews as such, because it's too noisy. I actually use another joystick for that. But it's very retro. It as I say, it's I think it's a Competition Pro clone, but the original didn't have those two buttons there. Actually, they do work. All these buttons are independent. They do one. It's basically button 1, button 2, button 3, button 4. So it's 4 separate buttons. You can configure to whatever you want it for. Unfortunately, when you use it in emulators such as like the Commodore 64 and Amstrad and Amiga, I think, you can only use this button, because they only, back in the day, all the buttons they had was only worked off one thing, if you know what I mean. There wasn't independent fire buttons, but it was, but they all worked. They didn't work separately, if you know what I mean. What else has it got? It's got auto fire at the back. Sometimes that don't work with the emulators, but apart from it, it all works for me. It's a nice joystick to use. Feels very retro. The micro switches inside, very strong. Feels very, very well built. I like it, but as I say, I don't use it much in my retro gaming reviews because because of that, it's very noisy. So I don't use it. But it is a very good joystick, I'd say it is. But unfortunately, if we look up here where I bought it off Amazon, there it is in all its glory. So it's the Speedlink Sports Tournament Edition Competition Pro USB joystick. USB, yes, there's the USB port. I think that's gold plated and all. Yep. Not really much of a big deal being gold plated, but they always say it improves performance rather. But unfortunately now, if you're thinking about buying it, currently unavailable. As I said, I brought it for 2 years ago, and they say they don't know when they're going to get it back in stock, but you never know, you might be able to find it on eBay, something like that. And how much did I pay for it back in the day? I don't know, it don't tell you. Really, you should order detail. Here we go. Everything comes up, if it does come up. So I paid £17.98, £18 back in the day for a nice retro joystick, and yes, it's worth the money. I think it's worth the money because I like playing those retro games. Always, something that feels retro. It was great to have, but even so, I say that I never had one of these, the original Competition Pros back in the day. But I think it was the retroest thing I could find at the time, because there was no other retro joystick out there really. I think there is, but I think there was more really expensive stuff, but I wasn't going to pay a fortune for something. But this really, the build quality on it is brilliant. It's very strong. Buttons feel good. These ones, I don't know, they feel alright, but you wouldn't really use them ones. Feels good. 2 years old, and it still works a treat. I think this button, because it's been used the most, it feels a bit looser than, say, this one. This one really feels like tight, brand new, but this one's, because I've worn it, use it quite a lot. Obviously that one's going to feel a bit more warm, but it still plays fine. Yeah, but if you want a retro joystick, try and look for this one. It is good, plays well, very responsive and all. Anyway, I'm going to end this review now. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, and goodbye.